Aston Villa winning 3-2 against Everton, despite being 2-0 down. I'll stay with you, Miles, because it feels like the right place to start with this game. Being honest, going 2-0 down against Everton within like the first half an hour, in my opinion, two pretty poor goals to concede. I don't know how you felt watching it live, but did you expect a comeback? I mean, I know it's Everton, but did you look at that and go, this is going to be a rough day for Villa, or were you pretty optimistic still?
No, I thought we would win. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. As soon as even the second had gone in, I was frustrated with the defending, but I was confident we were going to win. I think at that sort of point, stat flashed up that Everton had played 2 passes in Villa's third, and Villa had played 50 in Everton's. Like we were on top for the entire game. There was never a moment where I thought they were the better side. We just weren't able to shut them out. And the first goal, I think, is really fortunate. For me, there's 2 fouls on Onana as he robs the ball from him. He's gone through him twice to get to the ball. All right, he could be stronger.
Yeah.
But he has to go through him. He has to go through him to get the first touch on the ball that he gets. And then the second one, he trips him before he gets to the ball. Like you see him take his ankle. So I thought that was silly. And then he should be closed down sooner. That's the only thing I will say.
Yeah,
Centre-back should step out and get to him. And you know what McNeil wants to do in that area. We're poor defensively from set pieces. We have been for a while now. We're really missing the kind of physical presence that Carlos or Mings can bring. But let's not forget, we've got some key absentees in the defensive areas. And I really wish we could get a clean sheet because let's not forget, we have had some pretty favourable fixtures to start the season with. Like, there's not many games that you would have wanted over Leicester, Everton, maybe even West Ham when we caught them. When things get tougher, that defence is going to be tested a lot more. And if we've not kept a clean sheet yet, that's frustrating. Having said that, the way they were playing on the ball was so good. I don't think there was a defence in the league that would have coped with them on that day. They were excellent. Watkins was back to his best for the majority of the game as well. He looked lethal. Rodgers was still causing all sorts of problems. Ramsey freed up so much space. And Luca Dean, this resurgence of Luca Dean over the last 2 years, what Emery's doing. Bear in mind, Emery signed 2 left-backs since he's been there to almost replace Luca Dean and can't because he's just been so fantastic. I thought he was outstanding. So it's really good to see the players in Villa's squad really coming through and us not really missing some of the absentees.
Yeah, I think the fact that Watkins pulled a goal back, Dave, within the first half still was kind of, you could see the mindset switch from that point, couldn't you? Where they knew about Everton's frailties. And I think Everton knew as well that conceding a goal still so soon into the game was a dangerous territory for them. But credit to Villa and credit to Ollie Watkins as well, who really dragged his team back into it with 2 goals. And he's grown in stature, Ollie Watkins, hasn't he, with the team? And I think as long as Emery's been there, Villa have obviously grown and levelled up, and so has Watkins too. And he's at a brilliant level now, to a point where he puts in a performance like this, almost like the kind of standing captain in some ways. He really stepped up to drag Villa back into it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he'll be breathing a sigh of relief. I think, obviously, has it been a couple of games without a goal? I think get him off the mark now, and like you say, it's those kind of goals, he snuffs out those chances so well. But I will say, I think there was some bad defending from both teams. I think arguably the last goal was the only goal which you've got to put your hands up and say that was absolutely brilliant.
I think Watkins said after the game he was disappointed to not get a third and to get a hat-trick to his name. But I think if you look at the firepower that Villa are bringing off from the bench in Jhon Duran, not for the first time this season, obviously, quite literal firepower as well with the rocket shot. It's insane to see that depth of talent on the bench, isn't it? And it's hard not to get carried away, isn't it, with someone like Jhon Duran because of that raw talent he has. And we've talked about his mentality maybe being the only kind of downfall, but it's turning out to be one of his strengths as well. To have the confidence to do that kind of shot at that stage of the game is incredible.
Yeah, he's averaging a goal every 34 minutes, which is
insane.
Just outstanding. He's come off the bench to get the winner in every win Aston Villa have had this season. Like, that's the confidence he has. And he's saying things like he thinks he should be starting every game, or he thinks he's a better number 9 than Watkins. Like, he really believes in himself. You have to believe yourself to hit that. But all in all, it was a great team goal as well. That's the irony. It's this moment of absolute magic from him.
Yeah.
On the back of a 26 pass move where the whole team are just finding that slow build-up play that Emery loves, where he's waiting for that perfect moment to exploit. No one's expected it to be there, really. But I think the whole performance showed that. Like you mentioned, Watkins kind of leading from the front. And that's true because he's the one grabbing the goals and he clearly was up for it on the day. But I think there were some other performances that probably stood out to me more. Like Tielemans in the middle, again, is just showing that he is the perfect replacement for Douglas Luiz. Barkley came on in the second half. I thought he was excellent. Controlled the play really, really well. Onana in the first half, although we kind of criticise whether he could have been stronger in the first Everton goal, the pass he puts through to Luka Dean for our first goal gets us back in the game. And he looked like he was having a really good time of it before he had that injury. And it's just exciting to see that Villa have got that level of quality in the squad where you're struggling to pick out who the standout performer is. Because you have to bear in mind, this is a team that for years we were the Jack Grealish team, or then it started to feel like we were becoming the Ollie Watkins team a little bit. Whereas now, that's a really packed out squad. It's Unai Emery's team, and that's how it should be when you're competing at that sort of level.